Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our main news bulletin. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. SAMPA commences contempt proceedings against Given LUBINDA and RAPHAEL NAKACINDA. ECZ reopens ballot printing tender. Pastor defiles 3 girls from one family. In international news, after Niger COUP sanctions, pen strikes at SHUTDOWN Benin border. In sports news, government to attach winning bonuses for athletes who mint medals at any competition. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Do join me with the details shortly.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to heaven home.
And now the news in detail. Embattled Material Member of Parliament, SAMPA, has filed before the Lusaka High Court to begin contempt of court proceedings against Patriotic Front Acting President Given LUBINDA and Secretary General RAPHAEL NAKACINDA. In a comment filed before court, the material lawmaker explains that the duo defied an order by the court on 9 February 2023, restraining them from acting in the said positions.
While the faithfuls of the former ruling Patriotic Front continue with the chant of Alebo Elelapo and alleged rebranding, cracks are within which require mending. Wednesday, 20 September 2023, PF supporters flocked to the party secretariat to welcome the new appointments that have been made, to the despair of others, such as Material Member of Parliament SAMPA, who has filed before the Lusaka High Court to begin contempt of court proceedings against Patriotic Front Acting President Given LUBINDA and Secretary General RAPHAEL NAKACINDA. In an order of committal before the court, SAMPA tells the court that LUBINDA and NAKACINDA disobeyed the court order made on 9 February 2023, which ordered the duo to restrain from acting as office bearers of the opposition Patriotic Front. In his submissions, SAMPA tells the court that according to the order restraining the duo from carrying out party functions, Given LUBINDA and RAPHAEL NAKACINDA disrespected the court with their alleged continued behavior to be at the helm of the party leadership. The embattled material lawmaker also submits that the disregarding of the court order by the duo undermines the powers of the court, interferes with the process of administering justice, and brings the name of the court into shame. The aggrieved SAMPA submits that if anything fit is not done to tame the actions of LUBINDA and NAKACINDA, the reputation of the court will continue to be plundered in shame. In this matter, SAMPA is seeking the court to grant leave of committal against the alleged contemners. Mr. SAMPA says granting the order is aimed at maintaining the integrity that is before the court. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Former President Edgar Lungu's daughter, Chieso Lungu, has urged the Economic and Financial Crimes Court to quash Director of Public Prosecution's application in which the DPP is seeking to seize her properties. Ms. Lungu has told the court that the properties the DPP is claiming to seize are not proceeds of crime as alleged. This is in a matter where the DPP has commenced proceedings before the Economic and Financial Crimes Court, wanting the court to order the Lungu's properties be forfeited to the state, as it alleges that the properties which they have cited in the notice of motion is tightened.
Former President Edgar Lungu's daughter, Chieso Lungu, has urged the Economic and Financial Crimes High Court Division to quash the Director of Public Prosecution's application in which the DPP is seeking to seize her properties. In the affidavit of opposition to the application for a non-conviction-based forfeiture order, Chieso tells the court that the DPP cannot categorize her property as tainted without the court making such a determination. Chieso submits that one of the properties in question was purchased with the help of her father, Edgar Lungu, who has a traceable source of income and has no doubt that he would not fail to amass money amounting to 3 million kwacha. She also argues that it is not a crime for responsible parents to support their children in the manner her parents did, hence the matter falls within the category of malicious prosecution or abuse of court process. This is in a matter where the DPP has commenced proceedings against her, wanting the court to order Lungu's property to be forfeited to the state, implying that Chieso will give up on her properties without being subjected to trial. Among the properties that the DPP seek to be forfeited to the state are 3 flats and a pottery belonging to Chieso. But in her skeleton arguments, Counsel Chieso says the only reason her property can be forfeited to the state under sections 29 and 31 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act, a property can only be declared tainted if it is connected to a crime which the DPP has not proven. She has since urged the court to quash the DPP's application because it has failed to outline what offense was committed by Chieso in connection with the properties sought to be forfeited to the states, and as such, the court's powers under Section 29 and 31 of the Forfeiture of Proceeds of Crime Act cannot be invoked. Nelson Zulu. For Camnet News, Lusaka.
Movement for Promoting National Values and Principles founder Joseph Kunda has welcomed the announcement recently made by the Chief Justice Mumba Malila that judiciary will consider broadcasting live selected court cases that are of public interest. In an exclusive interview, Mr. Kunda says live broadcasts of court cases will assist the public to have a better understanding of the court process. Mr. Kunda has since urged the judiciary to prioritize and focus more on courtrooms handling cases of politicians charged with corruption so that the current and future ministers or civil servants are deterred from following similar acts.
We wish to reiterate the similar sentiments and pronouncements that were recently made by the Chief Justice Mumba Malila, indicating that all cases with public interest that are being prosecuted by the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Drug Enforcement Commission, all cases to do with plunder of the national resources and cases to do with corrupt practices should be televised publicly for the general public to start following. We feel those pronouncements are in tandem with the national values and principles, because all matters that come before court are no longer a secret, and the general public are supposed to be following all the proceedings, and they should keep abreast of the happenings before court. So we feel the pronouncements were a call at the right time, and at the same time it would help in allaying certain assumptions and insinuations that are engulfed by the general public that claim that probably certain cases are marred with some secretiveness, and that certain individuals are favored, or probably that politicians tend to have a hand in certain matters. And it will also serve as a precedent to the would-be offenders to be wary of such, and it would instill fear and a sense of responsibility in the would-be perpetrators or offenders.
Police in Sangahil district of Muchinga province have launched a manhunt for a pastor who has allegedly defiled 3 girls from one family after lowering them to a nearby bush with sweets. Muchinga Province Police Deputy Commanding Officer Ronald Zambo has named the culprit as Pastor Abel Sichivula of Pentecostal Holiness Church, who allegedly defiled the 4 girls aged between 8 and 13 years on September 14, 2023. Mr. Zambo says the suspect used his granddaughter, who plays with the girls, to lure them to a nearby bush where he promised them sweets and bubblegums. He says the girls were rushed to Nakonde District Hospital where they were examined, and they are now in a stable condition at home. Ngwerere Ward 22 Councillor Adrian Banda has called for collaboration in the fight against criminal gangs popular as junkies in Lusaka's Garden compound. Reacting to a report of junkies who are on rampage in Kanele area of Garden Compound, Mr. Banda says he is engaging the church, parents and other community groups to find means of addressing the problem through empowerment, sports program, among others. He says Zambia police is addressing the problem, but prosecuting the gangs sometimes proves difficult as no tangible evidence is brought forward and suspects released, a situation which makes community members claim nothing is being done by law enforcers.
Ngwerere wa 22 Councillor Adrian Banda has expressed displeasure with criminal gangs, popular as junks that are terrorizing residents in his ward. When is the Camnet aired a story where residents in Gardens Kanere area of Lusaka were lamenting attacks of criminal gangs that have gone on rampage even in broad daylight. However, in an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Banda says he is aware of the challenge and is working with various stakeholders, including the police and parents, to bring the situation under control.
Through other stakeholders to come on board. So I'm calling upon the NGOs, civil society, to come for our aid so that how we can empower these junkies. Yes, through my office and the office of the WDC, the Honorable MP office, we have taken 4 or 5 junkies to acquire training skills, so which we are happy. So that these are our brothers who can transform them.
Mr. Banda since dispelled assertions that the police in the area are releasing junks from police cells after detention.
Once these people are apprehended or arrested, they need to produce an evidence what they found with it. If he found with a weapon, that person will be taken to the court, because there is a proper evidence to say this is what we are found with. Or meaning that if they are found in an act, stabbing or disturbing the peace within the ward, then they've got those proper evidences. So once you see that these people have been released, doesn't mean that the police are not working. No, it's because they've got no proper evidences to show to the court.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has announced that it will this Friday, 22nd September 2023, float a tender for the printing and delivery of ballot papers and other election materials on a 3-year period. This follows the cancellation of the tender 2 months ago in line with Section 69J of the Public Procurement Act 8 of 2020 after noticing material governance issues in the solicitation document. ECZ Acting Chief Electoral Officer Bob Musenga, who addressed the media in Lusaka Thursday, says both local and international companies are encouraged to bid for the tender, which will see the best bidder selected for the opportunity. Meanwhile, Mr. Musenga has disclosed that the Commission has registered 3,038 voters in the month of August 2023, out of which 1,664 are males, while 1,374 are females.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to inform you and the nation that the tender for the printing and delivery of ballot papers, ballot paper posters, blind voter templates, and announcement forms for the Commission on a period of 3 years will be issued tomorrow, Friday, 22nd September 2023. Please note that this tender is open to all eligible bidders, that is both local and international. The tender will be administered following the rules under the Open International Competitive Bidding Procedures as provided for in the Zambia Public Procurement Act No. 8 of 2020 and Procurement Regulations of 2022. As a Commission, we wish to encourage all eligible bidders to participate. The bidding document may be obtained from the Zambia Public Procurement Authority EGP system upon payment of a non-refundable fee of 1,000 kwacha of the US dollar equivalent.
United Party for National Development, UPND Luana Area Member of Parliament, Anakoka Mobita, has urged opposition politicians to restrain from threatening the peace and stability of the nation when conducting their politics. In an interview, Mr. Anakoka observed that politicians are making it a custom to disturb the peace of the country just for them to gain political relevance. He has also refuted assertions that the ruling UPND is using the Public Order Act to harass the opposition, thus the delay to table it before Parliament.
Various stakeholders from the civil society organizations and political field have alleged that the ruling United Party for National Development, since taking office, have shown little interest to ensure that the much talked about Public Order Act is repealed. The Public Order Act has been viewed by many as a colonial-era law that has been used by successive administrations to restrict the rights to assembly. Under the former ruling administration, the Patriotic Front, opposition meetings and demonstrations were repeatedly curtailed under the pretext of this act. In opposition, the UPND administration had vowed to repeal the Public Order Act, but 2 years in office down the line, concerns have been raised as to why it has not been tabled before Parliament, with some opposition accusing the ruling party of using it to harass them.
If you're a school, church gathering, even the media, there won't be a problem. If you're a politician and you say you want to have a rally, they're going to stop you from having that. So you find that even a protest or whatever it is, so you find that a lot of things that various stakeholders and politicians brought about, it's because of what they are going.
UPND Luana Area Member of Parliament Anakoka Mobita says assertion that the ruling party is using the Public Order Act to harass its opponent is far from the truth.
Well, anyone who is accusing the government today of using the Public Order Act to curtail opposition was either not living in Zambia in the last 7 years, or they were living in Zambia but had hidden themselves under some rock, so they had no idea what was going on. Excuse me. The Public Order Act, we as UPND have always maintained, was a piece of legislation that was so much being abused by the previous regime. What has happened now is you are able to hear these opposition leaders talk. They are talking on radio, that's why they are making those statements. Nobody's stopping them. They are even gathering, sometimes even in front of police stations, and addressing each other. Nobody is tear-gassing them.
He says there is nothing that will benefit the UPND by abusing the Public Order Act.
Nothing, I should repeat, that would benefit this government by abusing the Public Order Act when we were victims of that Public Order Act. So what we would encourage our friends is simply to follow the procedures. Number one. Number two, they should not threaten the peace and stability of the nation when they want to do their politics. Because it is becoming a habit now, it's becoming a custom now for some of our colleagues that the only way for them to gain political relevance is to advocate for instability of one form or the other. And when the police moves in to advise them not to do things in a manner that will threaten the peace of the communities, they claim that the law is being used to stifle their freedom to practice their politics. That is certainly not true.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The opposition Citizen First Party says the UPND administration should have prioritized the recruitment of agricultural extension officers in order to help improve the performance of the agriculture sector. In an exclusive interview with Camnet News, Party's Information and Publicity Vice Secretary Patrick Kaluba says the government should prioritize recruiting in sectors that address the current challenges faced by Zambians, such as the high cost of living. He says there was no need for the government to prioritize the recruitment of 4,500 teachers when it already did last year.
Recruitment is the right thing, but our concern is government should have looked at the critical areas as something that is critical for now. we should have gone further to investigate or to find out which are the most affected sectors of our economy for now. So instead of recruiting the 4,000 teachers, our view is that the government should first of all prioritize the agricultural sector, because this is what is affecting the people now. We don't have, farmers don't have actually the farming inputs as for now, and government could have considered that as the first priority. We know, yes, schools are lacking teachers, but the most important thing for now is to improve on the agricultural sector to ensure that the households have the food that they require, and we prepare for next year so that we may, as a nation, have the food security.
In as much as we might say that that was a very good move for the government to do that, but we still beg to argue, to have the same argued, because already the government had considered the Ministry of Education by the recruitment of up to 30,000 teachers. So this time around they would have considered the agricultural sector, where we don't have enough agricultural extension officers. They would have considered that. The 4,000 would have been in that route.
The National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, says it is expected that government will allocate all the 4,500 vacancies in the 2023 recruitment to teachers alone, including the auxiliary staff. In an interview with Camnet News, NUPEZ General Secretary Nelson Mwale says government could have come up with extra 1,000 vacancies for auxiliary staff, unlike including them on the announced 4,500 vacancies. He says the education sector has a lot of gaps in terms of teacher-pupil ratio, which needs to be filled, and that this can only be achieved if more teachers are recruited.
Despite the 30,000 plus that was employed last year, the pupil-teacher ratio has not improved so much. However, I want to make a mention that how we wish the entire 4,500 were vacancies for teachers, as opposed to having the other 1,000 meant for the auxiliary staff. Indeed, we appreciate we need the auxiliary staff, but how I wish extra 1,000 vacancies were found for the auxiliary staff, so that the 4,500 is specifically for teachers, because at the end of the day, we have a situation where, especially in far-flung areas, where a primary school of about 7-8 classes has only about 2 teachers, and so you find it's very, very challenging. For secondary schools, indeed, we may say they are a bit better, but we have a crisis also, especially in needy areas like science, mathematics, ICT, and indeed commercials. And so for the number of secondary school teachers that is being employed, we urge government to concentrate on needy areas and not areas where we have teachers flooded already in classrooms, especially in social sciences. I think can they concentrate on these needy areas.
The Catholic Relief Services says it has so far put over 77,000 clients on HIV treatment since the inception of the EPIC 3-90 project in Zambia in 2017. Speaking during the close of the project Thursday, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Donor Coordination, Dr. George Sinyangwe, said that this is a milestone in helping the government to attain zero HIV transmission by the year 2030. Speaking at the same event, Catholic Relief Services Zambia country representative John Shumlansky says his organization remains committed to ensuring that it helps the country to attain epidemic control. And Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Senior Medical Advisor Dr. Dalita Zakari says CDC is looking forward to continued collaboration with CRS in the future as they seek to end AIDS as a public health threat.
At CRS, we believe in local partner capacity strengthening so that they can sustainably continue providing services long after the project closes. The milestones the EPIC 390 project achieved in identifying new HIV cases, putting them on treatment, and ensuring they are virally suppressed were a collective effort by all of us. As today is World Gratitude Day, thank you and congratulations to everyone for a job well done.
EPIC 390 has been awarded a total of $55,847,589 to support the implementation of TB, HIV prevention care and treatment services at both health facility and community levels. This award came at a time when Zambia needed to accelerate performance towards attainment of the joint UNAIDS 90-90-90 targets in 2017. As the award comes to an end, we are confident that CRS has helped build the capacity of the workforce at mission facilities to provide quality HIV services and to continue to close the remaining gap as Zambia positions herself to achieve epidemic control by 2030.
The EPIC 390 project has since 2017 put 77,000 clients on HIV treatment across the country, thereby contributing towards the attainment of the second 95. And by the way, on the second 95, the country is actually at 98%, and this is a result of efforts of entities such as CRS, and we thank you for your contribution. A lot has been achieved. Now is the time to sustain the gains that we made. Consolidate our resources and efforts to reach the last mile and achieve HIV epidemic control. As we attend the EPIC 390 project closeout meeting, I ask each one of us to participate and reflect on the discussions around solutions to sustain the gains made and accelerate our journey towards HIV epidemic control.
This is the main news on Camnet TV. We now take our first set of commercials. Do join me with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, too, me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Beginning 26 September 2023, watch a Zambian wedding on Camnet Television. Time 16 hours every Tuesday and Thursday, only on Camnet Television. Camnet Television has become your channel in Zambia and globally. Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television on Facebook, YouTube, and other social platforms. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Thank you for staying with us. We now continue with more news. Material Member of Parliament, Mao SAMPA, has called for more capacity building to caregivers looking after persons with Alzheimer's and related dementias. Speaking in a speech read on his behalf by Material Lima Ward Councillor Daniel Mwewa, Mr. SAMPA said most caregivers are informal with little or no training on how to look after patients with dementia but continue doing so as sacrifice. He was speaking during the commemoration of the World Alzheimer's Month in Lusaka Thursday morning.
Zambia has joined the rest of the world in commemorating the World Alzheimer's Month under the theme Never Too Early, Never Too Late. Alzheimer's disease is a brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills, eventually the ability to carry out simple daily activities. Though common in elderly people, the disease is also recorded among young people, depending on circumstances or risk factor behaviors such as alcohol abuse and smoking. Officiating at the event, Material Member of Parliament Mao SAMPA, through a representative Lima Ward Councillor, Daniel Mwewa called for increased efforts in equipping Alzheimer's caregivers.
We have a lot of our people suffering from dementia, but the challenge is the caregivers, the people who are looking after them, they have little, some with no information. Even those with little information, they have no skill on how to take care of these patients. So it is a call to different stakeholders, even to the government. Let's also focus our attention on this.
During the event, a trainee caregiver, Josephine Mulenga, shared some of the tips in responding to Alzheimer's and other types of dementia.
Probably very pain, they are delusional, they are hallucinating. Of course, hallucinations, delusionals, and paranoia is one of the effects of dementia. So, awareness in these areas and how to take care of these people, in terms of patience with these people. Patience is vital. What are their needs? What is the food that these people need to eat?
The commemoration was preceded with a memory walk by Alzheimer's disease and dementia in Zambia, Addis, which was flagged off from Nali Roundabout to Rhodes Park. For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
The Engineering Institution of Zambia, EIZ, has urged VEDATA to adhere to the engineering standards set by the institution and follow the codes of conduct in all its engineering works. In welcoming the mining company at Konkola Copper Mines, KCM, EIZ Public Relations Manager Ntalasha Mutale says as a regulator it will ensure that VEDATA meets its obligations, remains ethical and professional in its engineering operations. Ms. Ntalasha says EIZ also expects VEDATA to ensure that all employees and contractors that will be engaged to carry out engineering works are complacent pursuant to the EIZ Act No. 17 of 2010. Meanwhile, Cleaning Association of Zambia President Lawrence Makumbi says the coming back of VEDATA will create business opportunities for local cleaning that had suffered downsizing due to difficulties at KCM.
Labour did not defer the increase in the minimum wage to early 2024. What would have happened to the cleaning companies is that some of them would have been forced to downsize, because if the increase had eaten up into the profits and into the running costs of these contracts, the cleaning companies would have had no alternative but to downsize. Hence, we are happy that the government has thought for the entrepreneur by making sure that they defer this, even if it has caused injury to the cleaner whose cost of living has gone up, but because everything has to balance. If we have little money, the company has to survive and the workers have to survive. Hence, when government feels for us, the entrepreneurs, we say thank you, and by this we know that when that time comes, we may even increase the numbers of employees that we have if we are given an opportunity to grow our businesses.
Inter-Africa Governance Network says it is disappointed at sentiments from some stakeholders, in particular opposition political parties such as the Patriotic Front, Socialist Party, Economic Freedom Fighters, Golden Party of Zambia, Economic Front, and others who are against the retention of Konkola copper mine to Vendata Resources Limited. Organization Executive Director Maurice Malambo says the standoff between the Zambian government and Vendata Resources Limited was purely a legal matter that must be understood void of political innuendos and neither personal emotion, because such were and are inconsequential to the investment equation of Konkola copper mines. Mr. Malambo says based on the legal mechanics that obtained in this matter, the law was not followed through by the previous administration of the Patriotic Front in placing the mine under liquidation in view of the arbitration clause contained in the agreement consummated between the Zambian government and Vendata Resources Limited in 2005.
To indicate the fact that the matter was purely a legal issue, and therefore some of the political statements that are coming around the issue are inconsequential because the matter was purely legal. Now, if you are to look at the legal mechanics that were obtaining in this matter, is that the previous administration of the Patriotic Front did not follow through the law in respect to the arbitration clause that was contained or is still contained in the agreement that was consummated between the Zambian government and Vendata Resources in 2005, right when the investment started here in Zambia. So in view of that, it gave Vendata Resources leverage in the courts of law. Our own court of law ruled against Zambia, that is the Supreme Court in its 2020 judgment. And also when the matter went to South Africa, they ruled in favor of Vendata Resources. So as much as people want to generate some emotions and their misgivings, we just have to ensure the fact that all the mine houses in Zambia are compliant.
The Zambia National Public Health Institute, ZNPHI, has expressed concern on the rationing of water supply for 60 days by the Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company, which may lead to outbreaks of waterborne diseases. Institute Director, Public Health Policy Diplomacy and Communication, Dr. Mazianga Liwewe, says while this situation is of concern, citizens should prioritize the practice of good hygiene standards. Dr. Liwewe says while the Institute is monitoring the situation and promoting awareness, citizens should also begin to act before any waterborne disease strikes. She has disclosed that the Institute is already working on a waterborne case in Sama district.
With regards to the issue of water availability in Lusaka and the concerns that we may have as a public, I think it is important that the public is concerned because this is the season when we normally have a lot of waterborne diseases, particularly cholera is quite common in this season, and this is when it begins. Right now we're actually fighting a cholera outbreak in Sama district, and so the threat around the country remains real. But what is important, I think, to note is that we can prevent such diseases, these waterborne diseases. Most of them can be prevented. And how do we do that? The most important thing is that we need to maintain a lot of hygiene, hand hygiene and also environmental hygiene and personal hygiene. So, it's important that people wash their hands before eating and after eating. They wash their hands after using the toilet. it's important that when you are looking at food or dealing with food, your food is prepared and eaten while hot, and it's prepared in sanitary manner, in a clean manner. So you need to wash your vegetables, your fruits, with clean water, clean and safe water, even before you cook them, and you cook them thoroughly and eat the food hot. If you have remainders, you cover your food, and at the time of consumption, you reheat your food.
10,000 calves have been earmarked for immunization against East Coast fever disease in Central Province. Central Provincial Veterinary Officer Dr. Showa Munengami confirmed that 10,000 calves are to be immunized against East Coast fever in Central Province, and that the exercise has commenced and running smoothly, except for Mumbo District, where vet officers were gutted. Dr. Munengami says government has sourced ECF vaccines to replace the destroyed one in Mumbwa, and the vaccination exercise will resume soon. Meanwhile, the Department of Fisheries in Mukushi District has recorded a diagnosis of a fish disease called epizootic alkaretic syndrome. Nais has the details in the following report.
They say prevention is better than cure. This adage is of paramount importance not only to humans but livestock as well. A single vaccination provides lifelong immunity against East Coast fever disease. This year, the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock has targeted to vaccinate 10,000 cows against East Coast fever disease in Central Province.
This immunization is targeted at cows. It's for cows, and it's meant to prevent the cows from getting East Coast fever. We only give it to cows to be protected, because once you immunize the cows, they are protected for life. The province was given a target of 10,250 doses, and these have been distributed to the 5 districts that are carrying out the immunizations. The 5 districts include Mumbwa, Shibuyunji, Chibombo, Chisamba, and Kapiri. The exercise is going on well, except I'm sure you are aware of the challenge that we had in Mumbwa. So because of that fire incident, some of our materials got burnt in the office.
Meanwhile, the Department of Fisheries in Mukushi District has recorded a diagnosis of a fish disease called epizootic ulcerative syndrome.
We received a report of suspected fish disease in Mukushi. We asked our staff there to get samples, and the samples were submitted to the University of Zambia for further investigations. On the 13th September, we got the results that indicated the diagnosis of the disease, which is epizootic ulcerative syndrome.
Mr. Mwenya has further cautioned fishers to use recommended fishing nets.
The government has banned the use of monofilament nets, which are a danger to our water bodies. That is for those that do capture fishery. Our fishers are warned that we will not tolerate anymore the use of those banned monofilament nets. We'll be going around the shops to check and inspect and ensure that those nets are removed and banned.
Helen Witty reporting from Kabwe, Central Province.
We now take our final set of commercials. Do join me with the rest of the news after the break.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
That's a report I was given. Ati? Saendako bosi, atu mizako muntu.
Lekani tupumuleko please. Tulina mabanja knife. Better happen Yambo Conqueror. Because if I don't go to their doorsteps, the relation is a sinner. Better vis-a-vis. Let me start dealing with this issue. Vis-a-vis. I'm a doorstep. Head on.
At your doorstep. Time 11 hours to 12 hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And repeats from 18 to 19 hours every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Camnet Television. Not just another channel.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you for staying with us. And now in international news, lines of hundreds of trucks stretch back many kilometers close to Benin's northern border with Niger, their cargo wasting and their drivers going broke after weeks stranded at the closed frontier. Almost 2 months since a coup ousted Niger's president, the trucks blocked in Malinville at Benin's border are the most striking symbol of the Ballot Niger's neighbors are suffering from sanctions imposed on Niamey. After 15-member West African bloc ECOWAS banned trade with Niger and threatened military action to restore democracy, the new junta also blockaded a bridge border crossing with Benin. Here's a roundup of international news.
With the land route from Niger to Benin closed, many have turned to informal motorized canoes and boats ferrying passengers across the river Niger that divides them. Prices for the 30-minute journey have jumped tenfold on high demand. Operators said, anything that can fit goes, motorbikes, livestock, even people. People travel by boats. They leave the Niger side for Benin. At 6 p.m., everything comes to a standstill because of the insecurity. Because at night, the boat drivers cannot see and they bump into each other. Lines of hundreds of trucks waiting to enter Niger stretch back many kilometers, their cargo wasting and their drivers going broke after weeks stranded at the closed frontier. We've loaded the container and it's full of tires. It's a bit better for us, but for the others who have rice, it's all wet. The cassava flies all wet, all spoiled. Niger shares southern frontiers with ECOWAS members Nigeria, Burkina Faso and Benin. Drivers sleep under trucks, play cards, and try to endure the seemingly endless wait for a resolution. We realized that those with the means have turned back and gone across the borders to Kara and Ketao to go to Niger. So here we are. We don't have the means to go back like the others. So now we are praying that they will open here and we'll get through. The fallout from the sanctions is not only being felt in Niger. For Ghana, the sanctions have caused a shortage of onions, as Niger was a key exporter in West Africa. It also hit supplies of beans and millet.
A rare interview with American television, Mohammed bin Salman discusses what seemed unlikely just a few years ago: normal diplomatic relations with Israel.
For us, the Palestinian issue is very important. We need to solve that part, and we have a good negotiations continue. Till now, we gotta see where it will go.
So you think, if you were to characterize it, are you close?
Every day we get closer.
But when asked what he would do if Iran obtained a nuclear weapon, he said Saudi Arabia would do the same.
If they get one, we have to get one. for security reasons and for balancing power in the Middle East, but we don't want to see that.
As the interview went to air, Benjamin Netanyahu sat down with Joe Biden at a hotel in New York. Outside, greeted by protesters. Inside, greeted by Joe Biden.
I think that under your leadership, Mr. President, we can forge a historic peace between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And I think such a peace would go a long way, first, to advance the end of the Arab-Israeli conflict, achieve reconciliation between the Islamic world and the Jewish state, and advance a genuine peace between Israel and the Palestinians.
After being snubbed for months, Netanyahu got what he's wanted from Biden, an invite to the White House. The U.S. has expressed concern over Israel's creeping annexation of the occupied West Bank, and a controversial judicial overhaul plan critics say would weaken the Supreme Court.
We're going to discuss some of the hard issues, and that is upholding democratic values that lie at the heart of our partnership, including checks and balances in our systems, and preserving a path to a negotiated two-state solution.
If ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia are normalized, it would be another seismic shift in the ever-changing alliances of the Middle East.
In sports news, Sports Minister Elvis Nkandu has presented a medal to boxer Patrick Chinyamba, who won at the just-ended competition in Dakar, Senegal, and qualified to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Speaking when he presented the medal to the athlete in Lusaka Thursday, Mr. Nkandu says government is working towards attaching winning bonuses for all sports disciplines. The minister says this is in a bid to motivate the athletes to keep winning medals and treat all sports disciplines equal. He says efforts are being made to ensure availability of resources to allow athletes to travel for all competitions. Meanwhile, Zambia Boxing Federation Vice President Mashekwa Nalumango has thanked the government for the continued support rendered towards sport.
As we always say that we are going to support all sports, and there's no minor sports. So every sport is important. You may not know where you can get your gold medals from. Here we are getting it from boxing. He has also added to the number that we've been looking for. So you are aware that this really attracts some money. So Chinyemba has won himself $5,000. So that we do not look biased. Yesterday we had a discussion over that issue, and very soon we'll be able to fulfill what we promised. But we really managed to put up a good performance, and we are grateful for the ministry's support, and we are looking forward for more support from you, as we also do our part by preparing our athletes for blooming in bed.
That item brings us to the end of our main news broadcast, but before I go, let's take a look at the stories making headlines. SAMPA commences contempt proceedings against Given LUBINDA and RAPHAEL NAKACINDA. ECZ reopens ballot printing tender. Pastor defiles 3 girls from one family. In international news, after Niger COUP sanctions pen strikes at SHUTDOWN Benin border. And in sports news, government to attach winning bonuses for athletes who meet medals at any competition. We now look at the verse of the day coming from the book of 3 John 1 verse 11. Dear friend, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good. Anyone who does what is good is from God. Anyone who does what is evil has not seen God. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the entire Camnet News production crew, it's good night and pleasant viewing.